Hello guys, this is Red from Red's Third Dimension Gaming, and today I'm bringing you a review on Atelier Sophie, the Alchemist of the Mysterious Book for the PlayStation 4. Well, it is that time of year, Alchemy fans. GUST's annual release of the Atelier series is out, and this time it is available on PlayStation 4. You may be asking, being on PlayStation 4 makes the game better, right? The unfortunate problem is the game does not harness the inner power of the PS4. Atelier Sophie, the Alchemist of the Mysterious Book, takes its setting in the small town of Kirchen Bell. Sophie is the protagonist of this new tale, along with brand new gameplay mechanics. In this story, you'll meet many familiar faces such as Logi from Eska and Logi, and one very special being. Sophie finds a book Klakta from her collection that can talk. The whole book talking plot creates some minor interest in the story, but it is some of the later events that makes Atelier Sophie much more intriguing. Even though the story is unique, it is not nearly as interesting as the last couple of Atelier series games. In Atelier Eska and Logi and Atelier Shally, these introduced the story of the game from two different perspectives. The stories told in both of those games were not a bore either. Atelier Sophie's story is an okay plot and doesn't make a huge impression. I was literally yawning throughout some of this game. Even though the story is not the most impressive thing to grace this earth, the gameplay elements are much better and will be the single thing that drives players to complete this adventure. The gameplay for battles hasn't changed much and is still a standard turn-based system. I'm glad they're keeping it turn-based and not changing it to action-based, because that's not what their crowd wants. During combat, the game will have alerts to prepare you for when the opponent is ready to use a special attack, and that's one of the only things I've really seen changed in combat. There hasn't been too much of a change. The format of everything changed a little bit, but it's hardly noticeable. While taking a leisurely stroll in a forest or searching for synthesis items, the time of day will change. Sometimes the climate will change too. Players will have a change in weather and a daytime-nighttime system that creates a nice ambiance, ooh, big word there, in the ecosystem. A very noticeable change is the amount of people in the town. If you ever watched my live stream, you'll know what I'm talking about. I noticed way too often that there was like 1 or 2 humans in a spot in the village. And when you go in the bar, there was sometimes 1 person. Some of the scenes you actually do see more humans around than what you do when you're just strolling around the town. So it's kind of strange that they're only there when the scenes are there. In the live stream, we were also making fun of how it's a ghost town. There was no one there at the very beginning. There was no people. And you do see some crop up here and there, but in many of the past games, the game had multiple people who you could interact with, and there were a lot more barrels that you could spot out. That's one of the game's main things. If you don't know about it, then check out some of my walkthroughs or unboxings. I got a shirt that says barrel, so yeah. You only get it if you actually played Atelier game before. There are also still loading screens in this game, but they're much shorter than the past. So that's a plus. One final complaint about changes is the amount of dialogue that is spoken in English. Throughout this game, players will notice that while playing in English, the characters will be speechless. But if you change it to Japanese, they speak throughout the entire game.
Konnichiwa. Sophie だ。こんにちは。あら。この木って この町ができた時からあるのか。
Yeah.
Even when you're walking up and chatting with one of the people in the environment, they're just random people. They'll even talk in Japanese. It's crazy. I wish that I spoke fluently in Japanese because I was finding it hard to not turn off the Japanese part of the game. And I don't speak Japanese. I just like the interaction. It makes it very boring not listening to your characters talk. And it is a shame too because they got such great voice actors. You'll recognize the characters from the Hyper Dimension series and other Japanese game series. And also, in my opinion, this game had the least amount of voice scenes in any of the Atelier series games that I've played. Alchemy is simple in this game, but I do love past games' alchemy systems much better. I don't like this system as much. In this Atelier game, there is a feature panel system added that is kind of like Tetris to add bonus effects. I could have done without this feature because it felt unnecessary. There is also a doll make system which allows you to customize Plakta's looks and abilities. This is one of the better changes to the game. I actually like this. It was interesting. Finally, the graphics have not changed a whole lot for the series debut on the PlayStation 4. Sure, it has shorter load times, but why does fruit not even look like fruit? It looks like a jaggedy piece of crap from a 2000 PlayStation 2 game. I don't know why they can't upgrade this. I appreciate that the characters in each game always look great, but could we get some better textures and environments? Even rain doesn't even look that great. Like, if you're switching dynamics of the ecosystem from sunshine to rain, if it doesn't look that great, who cares? Make everything in the environments look better before you just decide, oh, we're slapping it on PlayStation 4. Who cares if it's on PlayStation 4? I'm sure just as many people would buy it on PS3. And like I said, it's like throwing our characters back into the PS2 era of graphics. Maybe they could have made the game better looking instead of changing the alchemy system every time. I'm not against innovation, but if it isn't where the game is suffering, then upgrade where it is actually needed. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, okay, so they kind of perfected the alchemy system in many of their games, but they keep changing them. If they'd spend more time on the graphics and keep the same alchemy system, I'm sure people would not be offended or pissed off at all. Because if you have a great alchemy system, why do you need to keep changing it? You're the only game that really does alchemy, and you don't have competition. Just keep what works the same and upgrade the graphics. These are the same background environments and graphics I've seen in like every single Atelier game, and I've seen better. I believe in Atelier Shally, some of the environments look better in that game than in this game, and that's a PS3 game, so work on those graphics. There's also a cross-saving feature that makes the game fun to play on the go, and then when you're home on your PlayStation 4, you can just download your network save and play it there. Boom. That's real simple. It's nice. I wish Capcom would have done this on the PS3 to PS4, since you bought the PlayStation 4 version, you got the PS3 version for free. I don't understand how these smaller companies can do it, but Capcom can't do it. So that's making me not make the jump from PS3 to PS4 on Resident Evil. But that's another story. I'm also glad that the time limit system is gone for good in this series. Don't worry, there is a time system going on throughout the day where it changes from nighttime to daytime and you can sleep, but that doesn't affect anything except on certain missions where you have to kill so many ghosts or something. They'll give you like 20 to 30 days. That's easy to do. But the story itself does not have a time limit system, and they have learned from their mistakes. Atelier Aisha had a great story, but it had a time system, and it really effed me over. I'm bleeping myself right there. If I would have gave it a score later, the review is entirely accurate up until if you want to grind in the game. Certain parts of the game, apparently if you grind and you don't have a backup save, you will be screwed and you cannot continue your story. So that game really screwed it up with time limit system. Overall, Atelier Sophie is a semi-fun experience. The gameplay elements of the game are spectacular, but there's a lot of unnecessary fluff that they didn't need to add to this game. Graphics need to be improved in the next entry instead of adding too many extra gameplay systems. They think they need a system for everything and they don't need to add all this fluff. Atelier Sophie's story is also boring and the talking book is not a hit, it's a miss. I give this game a 6 out of 10. It has a boring story but fun gameplay. If you're an Alchemist fan, you may like this one. I would suggest fans of the series just passing on this one and picking up some of the past Atelier games. Atelier Meru, Torturi, really fun games. The other ones in the series that I really think are great is Eska and Laji and Atelier Shally. Those are my personal favorites. I would suggest those. And they also have a Plus series on the Vita that are really fun. And they have like all the DLC and added into the game. So that is my final verdict, a 6 out of 10. If you guys disagree with me, leave a comment below. If you still want to buy this game, it's a decent game. It's not the greatest Atelier game. It's not the greatest RPG game of all time. But if you'd still like to buy it and help support my channel, you can use the Amazon link below and you get your game and you're helping support me by giving me like 5% of the sale. You're not spending any extra by using it. If you'd like to read my full written review, you can go on to my blog website in the link below. If you would like to help support my channel without buying anything, you can go to my Patreon, which is on my channel's main page, or you can just use the support link on my main channel page. You can give $1, you can give me nothing. I'm still gonna keep doing this. Amazon's the best way to support me with you actually getting something in return, other than me making lots of videos every day. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment below, and subscribe. See ya.